Guys, our closeout for this show, she is so funny, it's ridiculous. Please give it up for the hilarious Diana. Woo!
Hey y'all. Hey, how's it going out there? So I've been watching a lot of porn during this pandemic quarantine time. And pre-pandemic, I didn't really watch porn. I didn't seek it out. Like usually a dude would send me a link. He'd be like, check this out. And, I would oblige. So I would watch it, and then I would go down a rabbit hole, like a Wikipedia, if you will, right? And I'd be all into it. I'd watch porn for like hours, and then my feminism would kick in. I feel disgusted. I'd be like, oh, this is degrading to the women. And I was like, no, this is empowering. This is what they want to do. And I was like, I don't know. Do some of these women even know they on the internet? And I'm like, if they're getting paid, are they making a living wage? And I would just shut it all down. I can't. That was pre-pandemic, okay? But during this pandemic, this quarantine time, it's only so much Golden Girls episodes I can watch, okay? So I've moved on to the hard stuff. And I think even the Golden Girls would understand, because there's an episode where Rose asked the girls, how do y'all feel about being videotaped? And Blanche is like, I think after 3 dates, it's fine. So like Blanche would feel me, right? So I've been watching all this porn, like I've been actively seeking it out. And I watch, like the professional people, which is cool. But after a while, you can only take so much, of the like fake, right there. So then I go to the real people side. And the real people side be cool too. But sometimes like people's TVs be on in the background. Or like you just about to be getting into it, like you're watching, like, yeah, and then you hear beep, and you're like, is that your smoke detector? Like y'all don't hear that? So y'all just team bad decisions. Like y'all decided to make this home video and not buy no batteries. Okay. And then on the real people side, like, the orgasms don't be fake, but sometimes those bodies be a little too real. And I'm like, okay, this is why we have professional porn stars. Okay. So during the pandemic, I've been watching it all. I've been watching it all. And like, I have some critiques, and I have realized why I could never be a porn star. Like, not because I'm a prude or anything, but just because I'm like a little persnickety. So this is a disclaimer. I only watch Black people porn, okay? Because like any racist, that is my preference. And sometimes, I'd be scrolling, like trying to find like the right one, and then some white people pop up, and I'm like, I don't want to see the pain of the oppressor. I said ebony. And sometimes a thick Latina. Okay. So these are some things that I just like have a problem with. Like, I've made peace with the fact that Black dudes like, keep the shoes on when they're having sex in porn or in life. Like, I've made peace with that. But like some of this is whack. Like, these dudes just be looking raggedy, like there'll be a scene where the chick is giving head and the dude's pants are still at his ankles. Like, what? Y'all couldn't have cut that? Like, couldn't cut that scene so he could take his pants off? Like, I know he had to take his shoes off and then put them back on, but I feel like you should have worked that out. There was one I was watching. The dude had on a purple do-rag and sunglasses the whole time, and he was lacy. I've been like, see, I'm not wasting my good ratchet lingerie for this. I'm not doing this. The second thing I've noticed is like there'll be a threesome scene. It'll be 2 chicks and a dude, right? So one chick is like doing all the work, and the other chick is, off to the side, catching her breath. But she's like cheering her on, right? And she's like, yeah, bitch, do that, bitch, ride him, bitch. Bitch, who you calling a bitch? Bitch, like, you don't know me like that, bitch. Like, we just met today on set. So I need you to call me by my porn name, Sugar Cookie, or don't call me at all. Don't say nothing, okay? The third thing that I've realized is there is a lot of spitting happening on women's vaginas. And I'm not talking about little like, I'm talking about like, throw your head back from the back of the throat. People are treating women's clits like baseball fields, like, and I just came by tonight to tell somebody that spit is not lube, okay? Not on this side. Maybe on the Brokeback Mountain side. But on this side, no, don't do that. And this is why I know I couldn't make it, because I feel like, bitch, did you just spit on my clit? Cut the cameras. I'm not doing it. No, absolutely not. So I've been watching a lot of porn during this pandemic quarantine, and I've been eating a lot of bread. Not at the same time, because I need both my hands free. Okay. So pre-pandemic, I also didn't keep bread in my house because I know I have a problem. But I have to make my own breakfast sandwiches now. And so I've been buying not like a loaf of bread, but like croissants and brioche bread for French toast and mini hamburger rolls for lamb sliders. And, you know, like a real addict, I've been making my own. I've been baking biscuits. And so like any addiction, this runs in my family. And so I used to help my aunt in the kitchen. I would be on roll patrol. So one day when I was a kid, we took some fresh rolls out the oven, and she was like, Diana, I'm going to tell you something. Remember this. This is the downfall for the women in our family. A moment on the lips, a lifetime on the hips. And then she popped the roll in for emphasis. And I was like, what is going on? Because, you know, when you're 8 years old, that saying means nothing to you. Like, you don't even have hips. Like, you know, if you put your hands on your hips, people used to be like, girl, get your hands off your imagination. But when you 35 plus and you got hips and ass and big mama arms, like that saying hits a little different, right? And like when you're in a restaurant and you see some bread coming your way, like you have to make some real life decisions. Like you be looking at that piece of bread like, are you going to be good to me? Are you going to satisfy me? Are you going to hurt me? Are you going to call me like you said you would? Is this even your real phone number? No, I'm getting off track. You be looking at it, but it looks like a quality piece. It looks like quality piece. Doesn't have any blemishes, you know. So you take a piece and you eat it, and it has some fancy honey butter that's like sliding down your throat, and you're like, this bread, this is hitting the spot, yes. And then you be like, you know, I need to try it again. I need a second piece to make sure it's as good as I thought it was, right? And so you have another piece, and it's good. If you go back for a third roll and you're over 35, just accept that that bread is going to sit like right on the back of your fat roll. Just make peace with it. It's okay. It's okay. But I love bread so much that when I was a teen, my cousin was like, wow, you love bread so much. I bet if a man sent you a basket of bread, you would love him for life. And I was like, yes, is that a thing? Are people out here sending bread baskets, like edible arrangements? I need it. And I have told every man I have dated this as a test. And they have all failed miserably. Nobody has they ain't sent me a basket of bread. They haven't brought me a loaf of bread or like 2 Cheddar Bay biscuits wrapped in a napkin because he took his mama to Red Lobster for Mother's Day. Nothing. It just upsets my spirit. But I'm like, it's okay. I'm going to find a man who loves me enough to send me some bread. And he's going to be like, girl, what you want in your bread basket? And you know, like DMX and that What They Really Want From Me song, when he's like, it was Brenda, Letitia, Linda, Felicia. I'm gonna be like, ooh, baby, let me tell you what you can put in my bread basket. Croissant, pretzel, brioche, French, ciabatta, naan, pita, holla, 2 pieces of white bread, some fried whiting on the side. You can bring me any kind of bread, baby. Except for sourdough, because sourdough is some bullshit. And a girl has to have some standards, okay? Okay. So let's see. I have told you guys about my porn addiction, about my bread addiction. Let's see what else. About myself. I am from Silver Spring. Originally, I live in DC. But my mother's side of the family is from Selma, Alabama. And my mother's family was very involved in the civil rights movement. And if there's one thing you should know about Selma, it's that they played a pretty major role in the civil rights movement. There's a whole movie called Selma. And so my family was on that bridge on Bloody Sunday with Martin Luther King and John Lewis getting their ass beat. I mean, they were in the back. But they were on that bridge, okay? So one time my grandmother was like, she had met Dr. King, and she said, when I shook his hand, I felt this power. And I was like, is that how you felt, Grandma? Is that it? Because I don't know if you guys know this, but allegedly, Dr. King was a bit of a philanderer. Okay, now we're getting this info from the FBI, so take this with a grain of salt. But for tonight, we're all friends here. Let's just assume this is true, right? My only question is, who the fuck was fucking Dr. King? And not just Dr. King, but the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.? I mean, after all these years, we ain't get a tell-all book. We didn't get a documentary. We didn't get a made-for-BET movie. Me and Martin, my life as a side chick. Nothing. It's like them side chicks had a code. They was like, we are going to put the cause and the race above the come up and the coinage. It's like there was a coalition of side chicks. Maybe. Picture it. Birmingham, 1963. Tap, 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 tap. The meeting of the coalition of Dr. King's side chicks will now come to order. Okay, let us review the minutes. Are there any changes? Okay, no. Do we have any new business? Yes, Sister Belinda. I would like to report that Martin and Coretta had another baby. So I think we should send them a flower arrangement and say it's from the women of the movement. Because listen, them old school side chicks may have been discreet, but you can't tell me they wasn't petty, okay? They was probably sitting a few rows in church behind Coretta like, she thinks she all that. That's okay. That's okay. She don't speak to nobody. That's why her man was with me last night. He told her he was in jail. He was locked up all right, locked between these legs. Oh, yes. I know those side chicks had some petty in them, right? And it's like, we know nothing about them. Like, just think, you could be anywhere in this country, standing next to an old black lady. And she may have fucked Dr. King. You don't know. You don't know. Watch. Next time you in like Starbucks or Target, the Dollar Tree, your family reunion, you'll be looking at an old lady like, did you fuck Dr. King? Did you do it? I respect the old school side chicks and their code of ethics because I may or may not have been a side chick at one point in my life, okay? And if somebody came up to me and was like, we're doing a tell-all book or a show on side chicks, would you like to join us? I would do it. I would sign up. I sure would. And I wouldn't even need no money for real. I would do it for unlimited tacos and wings. I'd be like, oh, yes, let me show you these text messages. Let me show you these DMs, these photos. Do you see right here where he said he was tired of her and he was leaving her? But do you see on Facebook how he tagged her and said that she was his queen? Please put it in my contract that I like carne asada tacos and I like my wings fried hard. Okay? Thank you. Yeah, so those old school side chicks, they had a much better code than I could have. But for serious, I don't know if you guys know this about Dr. King, but he was actually stabbed. Yes, this is a real Black history fact, okay? In 1955, a Black woman walked up to him and stabbed him with a letter opener and almost killed him. Okay. And I learned this when I was little because, back in the old history books, encyclopedias, they used to spill all the tea. They didn't whitewash nothing, right? So I remember I was like, Mom, who would stab Dr. King? And a black woman at that. And she was kind of looking at me like, I don't know, girl. But now I'm like, was that a side chick who missed the meeting? She went up to Dr. King and was like, you were supposed to be with me last night. What is this I hear about you being in Montgomery? And what's this about a bus boycott? And who is Rosa Parks? I'm just saying. I'm just letting y'all know, man. I'm just letting y'all know. Y'all better be out there acting right. Because if Dr. King can get stabbed, if you're not acting right, your ass is definitely gonna get run over. Okay. So anyway, quick question before I go. This is a legitimate question. Do you guys think Beyonce makes Blue Ivy bring her the remote? To keep her humble. You know what I'm saying? And because Beyonce doesn't want to be judged by other Black people. Because if it's one thing like Black people love to do is to judge Black celebrities on how they are or not raising their kids. You know what I mean? Y'all remember when Will and Jada had Willow and Jaden just out here running around looking crazy, sharing emotions and feelings. Black people was like, what? Do they let their kids have feelings? And they haven't run a comb through that girl's head. See, this is what happens when you get too much money. You forget where you came from. But I don't think that Beyonce has forgotten where she's come from. I mean, she has Mama Tina, the blackest mama ever, right? From one of the blackest cities ever, New Orleans. And then Beyonce herself is from one of the blackest cities ever in Houston. And I just feel like Beyonce has that Black mama in her. And that Black mama spirit is to have your child do things for you that you could very well do yourself, right? Like a Black mom will have something in her right hand and she will ask you to take it out her right hand and put it in her left. And you better not. Oh, did you roll your eyes? Was that back tuck? What'd you say? That is just, how Black mama is. And they humble you at all times. So, a few months back, I was at my parents' house. I went to my parents' room. My mom was laying on the bed and she had the TV on already, right? So we were talking and then my mom was like, I'm going to change the channel. And the remote was on the other side. She said, oh, could you go get up and bring me the remote? And I was ready for her, baby. I was 30 plus. I was like, oh, I'm grown. Okay, mama, I am INDEPENDENT. Do you know what that means, mama? I got my own house. I got my own car. 2 jobs, work hard. I'm a bad broad, mama. And I was like, oh, that was a poor life decision you made, mom. Why is the remote over there and you all the way over here? You should have made a better choice. I don't know what you want to do. And you know what my mama did? Nothing. She just looked at me like, and you know what I did? I got up and I got my ass up and I got that remote, I had no choice, And so in my spirit, and I know the Knowles Carter household, I know it's an estate, and they have chefs and they have, hot help and nannies and all that. But in my mind, in my imagination, I like to imagine that Beyonce keeps one room stuck in 1988, right? She has a recliner in there and an old school TV. And, that's where she goes to eat her Popeyes and drink her Pepsis. And so she'll be in that room and she's like, Blue. And Blue is in the West Wing playing with her unicorn. And she looks up and she's like, oh, my mama's calling me. What does she want? Maybe she's gonna buy me a spaceship. And she runs into the room and she's like, yes, mama, yes. And Beyonce's like, Blue, pass me the remote and bring me my Newports. Thank you guys. Good night.